Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today with a really fun new model here, Asics Novablast 5 TR. This is the beefy, burly version of the Novablast 5. So if you've seen a Jeep Wrangler or a Ford Bronco, this is like when they take the Ford Bronco, they put it on a 3-inch lift and they slapped some 37-inch tires on it. That's what this thing is. So if you are interested in this shoe and other fun, unique, out there shoes, if you're a running shoe sicko, make sure you're on the Supwell app. Supwell app is my app. It's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. It's also the best community for people interested in running shoes and the culture of running shoes. I saw somebody post this shoe earlier this week saying, has anyone tried it? Has anybody heard anything about the outsole? Which is one of the reasons I'm testing it. But it's a great place to be if you want to get access to the newest releases, if you want to know when all the hype shoes are coming, and also if you want to get access to the best deals. We have not only the best deals on the marketplace, you can find carbon shoes with one run on them for $130, but people will find deals and codes and they'll post them and pass them along. So best place to be if you're interested in the culture of running shoes, and best place to be if you want to be part of a great community of hobby joggers getting better every day, daily. All right, enjoy today's video. Oh man, I see a cardinal. It's hard to see. You're not going to be able to see it. But it's a moderately nice day today. It's been raining. So I wanted to check out this shoe right here in this box. This is a fun shoe. Asics Novablast 5 TR. Now you know all about the standard version of the Novablast. Bang. This is the standard Novablast 5. One of my top daily trainers on the market. One of the best overall running shoes that you can get today. I have it number 2 on our daily trainers list. It's $140. Number 1 is the Salomon Aeroglide 3 right now. That's $160. That has slightly more durable foam compound than this. It hasn't compressed as much over time. That's really the only downside that people have had with the Novablast so far is potential durability concerns with this FF Blast Plus midsole or Blast Max midsole for bigger runners or people who are putting more power down in the shoe. Potentially, is it losing that bounce at 200 miles? That's what some people are saying. For me, it's still solid at 100 miles, but I have seen it compress down over time. The other slight drawback to the shoe, which is only an issue in certain conditions, like today where we have some, look at this. Can you see that? Look at this. We have some wet rock right there. The only time that can be an issue is the grip. The grip. That's the other concern with this thing. The rubber coverage here is good, and it is an extremely durable rubber, but it doesn't grip the ground that well. And on my first run on this, I did a 20 or 21 mile long run out of the box. I hit some trails. I hit some wet, icy patches. This was in the winter, and this did not do well at all on those light trails or on the wet. So that's what the Novablast 5 TR is designed to correct. It's not an aggressive trail outsole. It just switches the rubber compound. They don't even have a brand name for this rubber out here. The good stuff that they have is Asics Grip Plus. I forget what they call this. I'll look it up in a second. But the TR has a different rubber compound. And it has a beefier outsole. So today, I'm going to take it out of the box. We can take a look at it, and we'll see if the roads are slightly drying up here. It was raining earlier, but I want to see if this does any better on those wet patches, because that's the main thing holding people back from the Novablast 5. All right, let's open up this thing. Anytime I fire up this knife now, the real fathers come out. See, I'm a dad, but I'm not a father. There's a difference. The fathers come out. You know what they say? You got to put a new blade in that knife. Those are the fathers of the world. Well, look at that. The blade is still working today. That was only 2 strokes of the knife, and we're open. Bada boom, bada bang. Like I'm delivering a baby out of here. All right, let's take a look. Ooh, man, I forgot what these are supposed to look like. This is, wow, this is an interesting colorway. It is lime green with purple. This looks like something you might see at Coachella, or any sort of music festival. I don't know if this is a banger. Speaking of fathers and dads, this definitely does not look like Dad Drip 5000. This looks like something I might have thought was cool in college. Or maybe if you're under the influence of some sort of a psychedelic substance. So the other thing is, look at this. The Asics logo, it's like a quilt. So I grew up in Lowell, Massachusetts. We actually had a textile museum, and quilts were big in Massachusetts. This reminds me of some of those quilts I used to see around town. Or are they going for a southwestern, a southwestern United States aesthetic? But that's typically more of the orange, like this knife right here. That would be more of the southwestern color palette. So there's a lot going on. You have the lime green with the teal turquoise tongue. That is a different tongue than the standard Novablast. So there are a few different things. Different tongue than the standard Novablast. I actually think this is a better tongue on the 5TR. It has more padding. It has a beefier, I don't even know what you'd call this, but an area to pull it here. This one is very thin. I could see, so I don't have this issue with the tongue sliding down, but you can even see right here, it's a very flaccid tongue. There's no structure to it in the standard Novablast. I think I picked the wrong word because I was thinking about what the opposite is. I'm not going to say it. This is more rigid for sure. There's more rigidity to it, more padding stuffed inside of this tongue here. And then the back is different too. This is a really curious design decision on a trail shoe to go no heel tab. That's an odd choice. I would think the road version you'd go no heel tab because on the roads your shoes aren't going to be as dirty, so you don't have to. It's okay if you touch them. I think on the trail side you would want the heel tab, and then also if you're going to strap your muddy shoes to your bag or something, you put your carabiner. You guys ever heard of that one? Nah, maybe I'm a father. Maybe I am a father talking about carabiners in the textiles of my youth. I think this video is just the one that upgraded me into father territory. But yeah, if you had a carabiner, you're going to strap your muddy shoes to your bag. You want something to hook onto. So that's a difference here. Minor, it's not going to be a huge deal. I do think, that means there's a slightly lower back here. So it is a different construction around the back. It's about 2 millimeters lower, which is interesting. But same exact midsole. I can throw this in the Stackerator just for good measure here. I do like the way it looks. It's unique. It's different. I haven't tried the Trabuco Max. Are they on the 3 or the 4? The new Trabuco Max Cushion trail shoe. I stopped testing so many trail shoes. I actually have a few sitting in boxes other than this one that I need to test. This one I'm just going to take on the roads, but I could see this being a fun pick for the summertime as a shoe for bopping around with the family whenever we're going on walks. Now, with this colorway, we go on a lot of walks and hikes, by the way. But with this colorway, man, it is very light. So I do not see myself taking this on any serious Western North Carolina trails when we go hiking because this is just going to get completely wrecked in the mud. It also is not a waterproof upper. Sometimes I like waterproof uppers for hiking, or at least having a really good grippy outsole and a taller shoe so that it doesn't get wrecked, and a darker upper. So this is likely going to be my rainy day road shoe. One other difference I'm noticing between the standard Novablast, look at this. You do get the waterproof coverage up at the front here. I also, by the way, new partner on the channel, Revive and Revel. I haven't even really talked about this a lot, but my guy Ryan, who owns Revive and Revel, reached out to me a few months ago. We've been working some stuff out. He's going to give some exclusives to the app, but they're a really cool brand based in Pennsylvania. They do sunscreen. That was the main reason why I wanted to work with them, so we could get a sunscreen partner over the summer. They do sunscreens. They do body wipes, for after you're working out if you're not at home in place of a shower. And then they also do waterproofing. So maybe I'll spray this with his waterproofing solution, the Revive waterproofing solution, so I could waterproof the whole upper, because that would take this to the next level too. But right now, all we have is this toe cap here, which does help. And one thing I've noticed is if you're running in a white shoe or a lighter colored shoe, like one of these in the rain, your entire shoe typically doesn't get super dirty. It's usually just this area right up front with the toe cap that will get speckled with some dirt from the road. So having this sort of a material means that you can just wipe it down and the dirt wipes off quicker. And that's the same thing with a lot of the waterproofing solutions and even Gore-Tex in some cases. Maybe your feet get slightly damp, but it is a lot easier to clean off the more waterproof hydrophobic materials due to how they interact with the fabric. The water and any of that muck just completely sheds off versus a typical fabric or like a cotton hoodie. If I get this muddy, that mud is just going to stay there. So that's the Novablast 5 TR. Let's get some specs of this thing. I remember thinking this colorway wasn't that sick online, but in person, it is fire. I really like how this thing looks. It pops in person, and it just looks like nothing else. It looks like no other colorway I've seen this year or even recently. It's fun, but it's not too out there. And lime green, bright green is a very common running shoe color. Purple is not, and they hit it with the purple right on the midsole with the teal. This is the little Charlotte Hornets colorway right there. The teal and the purple. Bang, man, this is flames. This is a good Charlotte, North Carolina shoe right here. I really like it. So this might be my new summer just dad drip walking around shoe. Mix it with the new Supwell summer swag we have coming. Bada boom, bada bang. Yeah, this is fire. I'm a big fan of the looks of this thing. One of my favorite looking shoes that's come through recently. Just different. I like when we get something that looks different, that doesn't just have the same aesthetic as anything else. This is like nothing I've seen on the roads or the trails. All right, enough poetic waxing on the colorway. Let's weigh in the Novablast 5. So standard version here. I like this colorway too, but it is more standard. This is 267.5 grams. You can't even see that because the way the sun is angled. Let's just quickly throw on the TR. This guy is, whoa, that's a lot of weight. Look at that. Offset. That's a lot of weight. That's 290.5 grams. You have to get the little offset right there so we can get the right angle. That's crazy. 290. So that's hold on. Let me just do some quick math. 290 minus 260. That's 23. That's about, man, that's a big difference. It's an 8% difference, 10% difference. I don't know. QA check. So 290.5 on the left, or on the right side, left side here. Ooh, is there anything inside? No. So yeah, left side is 297. Asics is typically pretty good with these things. Right side is 290.5. So a little bit of difference. Of course, the main area, the difference of weight is going to be coming in from this extremely thick lugged outsole. I mean, look at this thing. So the pattern is the same as the standard Novablast, but it's thicker. There's no gaps in the rubber. It looks like a hybrid that it's designed both for muddy trails and for wet roads. Let me go grab a road or trail shoe so I can compare. So boom, this is the Speedgoat 6 Mid GTX. I've never actually showed it on the channel. I bought it at REI one day when we were going hiking, and I think we were just going to the Whitewater Center here. I thought it looked fire, and I said, hey, if it's nice, I'll run in it. I really did not like the fit and the feel of it, but this is a quintessential, prototypical, standard trail shoe. This might be the best-selling trail model in America. It's definitely the best-selling trail model on Running Warehouse, but look at the bottom here. Again, very prototypical trail outsole. You have these smaller lugs that are raised, so they're like spikes that grip the ground, versus the Novablast 5, you can see there's no lugs. You just have those larger tread blocks which are raised. So that's an interesting design. But what it did do is, look at this. When I was getting the glamour shots for Instagram, I put it up here and it completely stuck. Look at that, completely stuck. Let's see if the standard Novablast does that or if it slides. It threatened to slide, and then it stuck. Look at that. See, it slides, and then it... Okay, I don't know. Maybe they both stick. But I was impressed that... There's look at that. Oh, now it's sliding. Yeah, I thought it was gripping pretty good up here on the wet. Let's see if the Speed Goat grips. Oh yeah, that Vibram grips too. Anyway, point being, this thing has more of a traditional trail outsole. The Novablast 5 TR does not, so I'm hoping that means it's a decent ride for the roads. And man, this thing looks so good. All right, let's lace this thing up. I feel like LaMelo Ball in these. This looks like a basketball shoe colorway. Basketball shoes have more of these wild, multicolored colorways. Running shoe colorways are typically, you'll see 2 or 3. Wow, this... I just have to check. Okay, hold on. So, US 10.5, CM 28.25. This fits really big. Let me go grab the other one. Just feels big. I don't know if it's because I've been running in shoes that are fit snugger or if it actually does fit longer. I guess the Novablast fits a touch long in general. Definitely a roomy fit. No, this is... Yeah, this fits longer. I could have gone half a size down. That's crazy. My toe isn't even coming up to where this green thing is. My toe is behind this toe cap. So this fits differently than the standard Novablast, at least in this colorway. It's comfortable though, and I do have a lightweight sock on, so I don't know if I would say half a size down. Also, the slight changes they've made to this tongue are super nice. This upper is better than the upper in the standard Novablast. By the way, if you see that brown there, that's because there was a slug, a ride-along slug. I had to knock it off. Yeah, I really do like this. The tongue and the back thing doesn't bother me at all. The lack of a pull tab. I do think if you like to carabiner your trail shoes, that could be a problem. One thing is I didn't put this through the stackerator. All right, let's take a walk test here. Okay, so I was fooled with this. This is not a different... I just looked it up because as I was doing that grip test here, I was surprised it wasn't sticking more. This is not a different rubber compound. This is the same AHAR low is what they call it. AHAR LO, as in low traction, low grip. It's not good in the wet. So they put more of it under here, but they didn't put it... I don't know. It's not gripping the ground. I actually think the other outsole might be better in terms of the way the rubber is laid out. But we'll get some miles in it and we'll see. I am not that impressed so far with the grip, and I'm disappointed to learn it's the same rubber. I thought this was the Asics grip. I'm wrong. It's not. So if you want the Asics grip, you have to upgrade to the Novablast or the Superblast. But for this, you do get more of the rubber, which I guess would help the durability, and you got a sick colorway. But you don't get the different upgraded traction, so that's disappointing here. I mean, you can just see it doesn't bite the ground. that great. All right, we're going to get some miles in it anyway. Novablast 5 TR, let's do it. If the grip on these isn't good, they might just be the best shoe for walking on clean and dry gravel paths. It's just fire. They look so good. These are swag. These are my new favorite dad drip shoe for the summer for sure. This is not father, but this is dad. This is daddy. This is big daddy. Who you calling small, bro? Man, it really is shoes like this that make me so happy I can just buy and test whatever shoes I want. These are just so cool and fun. Oh gosh, I forgot his truck was there. We're having plumbing issues. Yeah, this, oh gosh. The grip is not better on these. So this is the thing with this outsole. It's like a mud tire. It's actually not any better for the water because it doesn't have that siping on the tread block itself, like I was showing up there. So bit of an interesting experience on the roads. I can feel some of that additional weight from the outsole, but it's not a bad ride. I'm gonna go hunting for some off-road terrain here on the leaves. Yeah, it's actually nice on these leaves. So out here on the roads, it's runnable for sure, but not giving me the extra grip I had hoped. Also, the thickness of the rubber I can feel is making the ground contact time longer. There's going to be less flexibility on the bottom because it doesn't have all the additional cutouts that the regular one does. So it's not snapping me off the ground as fast as the standard Novablast. Still fun and bouncy. Still protective, but it's maybe 5%. That's too much. 3% slower. So yeah, no additional road or wet weather capabilities at all. We'll have to take this on the trail to see how it does on the gravel. Mile 1, 7:31 pace. This definitely feels like overkill for the roads, this outsole, if you're gonna get an exclusive road shoe. But where I think this would be nice is travel shoe. If you're gonna be doing some light hiking and want something you could run in as well. Or if you run on a lot of gravel and rocky paths mixed with some road. It also just looks sick. You can never go wrong with the shoe that looks sick. These are gonna look so good at the coffee shops in Asheville this summer. Pull up in the, can I have an Ethiopian pour over 16 ounce, please? These are the guilt trip tip $2 on the iPad because somebody's looking at me 5,000s. And I cannot wait to drive my Jeep Wrangler 4x4 off-road SUV exclusively on the pavement this summer. Wearing these, fire. They're gonna look so good when I walk into the Harris Teeter. The crazy thing is, I used to actually be outdoorsy. When I had my first Jeep, we would take it on trails. We would do a lot more hiking. We were always in the mountains. I think it's the three kids. The three kids that changed things. But Mace has been asking me to go camping, so maybe I should take the plunge. Supwell off-road. Coming summer 2025. I don't even know if I want to take these on road trips this summer. Some of those gas stations are dirty. These are too clean. These might be too clean to be a road trip shoe. Yeah, just in case you need a final confirmation that these do not have good road grip. It's like ice skating. I also told Charlie last night that Mason wanted me to take her camping, and I was all excited about it, and she said, I want you to take me camping too. Why don't you get excited about that? And I told her it's because it's not as easy for me to just up and take you camping and leave the kids here. But then I had an idea. Maybe Supwell is not just a buy, sell, and trade shoe marketplace for hobby joggers. Maybe it's a parent swap. Meet other parents in your area, and then you can babysit for them. But here's the thing, you have to have verified mileage to even participate in the parent swap part of the program. Maybe it's something like you have to have 15 miles a week just to get accredited. I don't know, I'm workshopping that part. But stay tuned, Supwell app 2.0. Lots of good stuff coming. All right, serious trail test time. Yeah, they're good. We're good. We're good. They're good on the trail. Last mile here. I'm gonna throw in some strides. See how this rubber does with some speed. Bro, that's crazy. The kid who lives at the house with the big pits who chased me down, he was outside doing something. He's not a kid, he's a teenager, maybe 20. But he saw me coming and he sprinted inside to lock the door and make sure the dogs wouldn't come out. So I bailed on the strides. I'm feeling tired. But what's crazy to me is that these do not feel different from my 100+ mile pair in terms of the midsole and the bounce. And I know a lot of people are saying they're flattening out for them, but bounce on this fresh pair is very similar. So that's a plus for the Novablast durability. All right, morning run in the books. No strides. My legs were not popping off this morning, so I cut those. But let's see, we got just about 6.41 miles, 7:26 pace, 47 minutes and 40 seconds in the Novablast 5 TR. You know, this colorway is actually called the Bathing Nature version. Asics always does this. They do a Bathing Nature. Last time it was orange on the last gen. I really like this green and blue and purple, but these feel very similar to the standard Novablast, and as you'd expect, it's the same exact midsole, very similar upper. The key difference here is this outsole. The rubber just dampens the ride on the roads. It's going to provide better traction and also just better protection on gravel for the foam, but out here on the roads, it's 3% clunkier and 3% slower, but still an absolute banger. And if you're looking for a fun summer shoe for dad swag, or should I say dad drip or mom swag, this is a nice pick. It's going to look great getting some gelato. Man, that's crazy. I just came in here to grab my stuff to shower, and we're getting some plumbing work done. This is never good when you come into your bathroom and there's just construction material everywhere. People ask me why I don't build the content studio yet. This is why. Gosh. I don't know a lot about home improvement, but I do know when the plumber's on the roof, it's probably not a good sign. Crazy thing is, whenever I hang out with any of Charlie's friends, all of their husbands are like, oh yeah, this weekend I'm building a second level on our outside deck. We just did 40 acres of fence around our backyard and we stained it. I don't know where these guys learn and do all these things. All I know how to do is jog and talk. Those are really my two redeeming qualities, and I think that's actually why Charlie married me. I've told this story before, but I was doing some sort of a funny Boston accent at a party, and she liked that. She thought it was funny and cute and charming. So people laughing at me, it's not even with me most part, that's my number one characteristic. Home improvement, working with my hands, anything else, anything stereotypically masculine, no. But hey, it's 2025, and thank God YouTube exists, and things like marketing and sales, and I could actually put together some pretty good slide decks exist. Anyway, we got 6 miles in the Novablast 5 TR. This is a really fun shoe. Let's throw up the run. It was just a jog around the neighborhood here, average 7:30 or something pace. I actually felt like I was going much slower than I was, and that's a testament to how fun this shoe is. So this is identical to the standard Novablast with the midsole, very similar upper. Minor changes are, let's just go through them again really quickly. You get a waterproof toe cap or some sort of overlay, they call it, probably TPU overlay, which is waterproof material up here on the front. More padded tongue. It's also a different material and it's squared off, different shape. No heel tab in the back. Different logo here. It's embroidered, which is pretty cool. And then you have the thick layer of rubber on the bottom, which is not a different compound. It's still the AHAR low, but it's in a different layout here. So identical ride out here on the roads, still bouncy, still fun, still in that slightly soft pop shoe along category. The biggest downside to it is because it has that thicker layer of rubber, it did dampen some of that fun experience by 2 to 3%, but I didn't mind it. So headline here is it still is a runnable shoe. A lot of the time when you go over to the trail side, for example, a shoe like the Speedgoat 6, that is no fun to run in on the roads at all, or even something like the Norda 001. I also pulled it out up there. I don't think I showed it on camera, but that shoe with the Vibram outsole with, I got a mosquito on me. It's starting to get mosquito season out here. I have to call it Mosquito Joe's. You guys know Mosquito Joe's? We're going to absolutely whack them this year. I'm not messing around. Last year I tried, citronella. No, this year I'm going full on pesticides in the backyard. It's a war on the mosquitoes. Yeah, this outsole is totally runnable. It didn't bother me at all. It does add weight to the bottom of the shoe, but it's still much lighter than something like a Nimbus. Nimbus comes in at 315, 320 grams. This was 290 grams, so that is still a very lightweight shoe. That's lighter even than Asics Glide Ride Max, which is 300 grams. So it's not a heavy shoe, but it does feel bottom heavier because where you're getting that additional weight, 20 grams, is all down here. It's all in the bottom of the shoe. Now, my biggest disappointment and surprise was actually the performance of the rubber here. So part of it was research error on my part. I thought they were putting a different rubber on here. I don't know why I thought that. I thought they were doing the Asics grip. They did not. It is still the same exact rubber. But the other error, or just different, I don't know if you'd call it an error, but the layout of this rubber is not tuned for wet weather grip, which is surprising to me. Now, they are calling this the TR. They're not making it a Gore-Tex version. That would be cool if they made a Gore-Tex version of the Novablast and put the, what do you call it, the Asics grip on. That would be a banger. But they have tuned this to have a mud terrain outsole. So large tread blocks here with these big gaps to shed mud without a lot of teeth. There are no teeth and no lugs poking out. So that's one of the reasons that the ride feels dampened, because it's all the rubber feel, but it's also, you don't get that crunchy character that you can get with the lugs, and it's not super rigid on the bottom. There still is some flexibility to it. So if you're gonna be running on gravel roads, if you're gonna be running on any rockier passes, this is gonna be great. It's gonna protect the foam, it's gonna protect your legs. It's just the grip isn't what I had hoped it would be, and with the standard Novablast, that was the biggest downside to the ride experience. It did not do well at all in the wet weather, and this one is arguably worse. Again, if you look at the standard Novablast, I'll throw up some B-roll from the beginning. You can see the tread pattern there. It has more teeth to it. There's more siping. It's lower to the ground. It's gonna bite better. Ironically, and this is the same thing with tire design, the mud terrain style outsole does not do that well in the water. You want all those teeth and you want the siping, so it's unfortunate that they went with this design for what a lot of us hobby joggers had hoped. It's not the wet weather Novablast, but if you looked at it on paper and studied it, maybe, I don't know, even if you looked at it on paper, you wouldn't have really been able to tell. A lot of the time you can only tell on the road, but I think it really could have been fixed even if they just did some more siping. And siping is when the cut lines, if you had cut here. Instead, they've just done these completely flat tread blocks. So it almost seems like this is a lifestyle version of the Novablast, which I don't mind. It looks so good, and that was my biggest surprise of this shoe in a positive way today. I absolutely love the way this thing looks. It's like a work of art. This colorway is beautiful. You have the lime green with that eggplant purple. It's not even eggplant purple. What kind of purple? Is this periwinkle purple? It is such a nice shade of purple with the teal. It's a beautiful colorway and an off-white creamy midsole. Really nice looking shoe. So I've always said the Novablast isn't a casual shoe because the smoothness of the ride and smoothness for walking isn't there. I'm gonna use this as a casual shoe. And with the number of shoes that I have, it's nice to have a shoe that I find that, oh, I'm gonna use this for this one certain thing. This is gonna be my fun summer shoe. So I think for a lot of people out there, if you are looking for a fun summer running shoe that you can actually run in on the roads, but you can also take to the pool, that you can do some light hiking in, that you can use as a travel shoe, this would be a good pick because we all know the capability it has for running. This would also be great if you need to pop a few miles on the hotel treadmill on a road trip, but then later in the day you're going to be doing some light hiking. This is going to be an awesome pick. So it's not a super rugged off-road beast. There are tons of options for that. I've been using the Speedland a lot. Hoka Tecton X3 if you want to go super max stack and bounce. Nike Zagama 2, that's a really nice one if you just want simple off-road comfort that's not going to break the bank. You can often find it on sale for under $100. You could also find the last generation of the Hoka Speedgoat, or I think it's Speedgoat. Yeah, you can find the Speedgoat 5s on sale, but the new Mafate Speed, I think they're changing up the lineup. They're doing two Mafates now. They're doing a Mafate and the Mafate X. So with those coming out, the old Mafate, the Mafate Speed 4, that's going to be on sale. That's a comfortable shoe and fun shoe that a lot of people like. So there's tons of good options. again, not every shoe needs to be for everything. This is not, if we think of the Alpha Fly or the Metaspeed Sky Paris as the ultimate pinnacle and race day comfort, this is more of a magic speed. If we're like, this is, magic speed is to racing what this is to off-road terrain, right? So this is an entree into that world. It's not going to be the shoe you use to do a 30-mile trail run in the Rocky Mountains. From Asics, that could be the Trabuco Max, or they also have the, I think it's called the Metafuji Trail, which is their race shoe. I haven't gotten a lot of miles in trail shoes recently, so maybe I'll do another trail diversion. That could be fun, but the thing is nobody watches those videos, so I don't know. But for what this is, I really like it. Not a wet weather shoe, not what I had hoped or thought it was, but for what it is, it's a thumbs up. It's a really nice looking, fun summer shoe that you can get some miles in. And not just summer, you could use this for any season. Gravel roads, rocky roads. It's got me thinking of some ice cream. All right, that's all I have for you today. Asics Novablast 5 TR, 150 bucks. If you're looking for a good shoe to get some miles in the summer and be swagged out, not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all. One alternative I will give is the Nike Pegauss Trail 5 Gore-Tex. That one does have outstanding wet weather grip. So the outsole on that one, it isn't as thick as this guy. It's more flexible, but very similar in terms of the types of runs and how I would use it. I love that shoe as a casual shoe. I have the pink colorway, and you can find that one on sale for dang near half the price of this. I think I've seen it at 70, 80 bucks at REI and other sites occasionally. So if you want an alternative to this for some summer fun general purpose shoe, if you're going to be doing a lot of hiking and outdoor activity, Pegauss Trail 5 Gore-Tex. All right, Supwell Off-Road coming summer 2025. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.